We've been rather wrecking car. What is that stage for us? Kicking up on the road. Yeah, we could be superstars. Celebration time is up. So we fell off the spinning tops. Now maybe
The ball is
Giannis downhill, slams it home. Pressure again, and a sack for Aaron Donald. Coronation is complete. All hail King Canelo. Then Mahomes who tiptoes inside the 10, still not out. Oh, what a run!
Thanks, guys, for joining us for another episode of our NFL Free Agency Frenzy Recap. I'm your host, Malik Wright, joined with my host today. We got Logan, we've got Joe, we've got Danny, who was here with us yesterday. We've got Aidan, who's been with me all week. Aidan, how you holding up, man?
Oh, I'm holding up fantastic. This is an awesome week in sports. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, man. Every single day we have done a show thus far, and we are excited to keep bringing it to you. And we got Marissa in the building. Marissa is our Bills beat reporter. She covers the Buffalo Bills for us. And what a time to have her on, right? What a time to have Marissa on. Marissa, huge news day for the Buffalo Bills as they've added O.J. Howard and they added Von Miller to a ridiculous contract. I can't wait to talk to my guy Mookie about that contract. It seems like the Bills got a little too desperate there, in my honest opinion. But we'll talk more as the show goes on. Guys, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on TWSN on Twitter and follow all these guys. The description should be down below. And all their bios should be down in the description below. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Aidan, and Aidan's going to take over the show.
Well, you already mentioned the Buffalo Bills, and that's exactly where I want to start. In the past 15 minutes, if you've missed it, Von Miller signs a 6-year, $120 million deal with the Buffalo Bills. They're also adding O.J. Howard. And again, what better time for Marissa, our Bills beat reporter, to be on the show. So Marissa, start us off. What are your thoughts on these deals for the Bills?
It just makes sense to get Von Miller because you have two young, possibly star edge rushers and Greg Rousseau and Carlos Basham that you can really develop, but you need that veteran presence. And who better to add to that veteran presence than Von Miller himself, coming off of a Super Bowl win where the Rams went all in. And this deal exactly resonates what the Rams did, but from a Bills standpoint. You go in, you get that edge rusher, you bring that proven talent to that defensive line, and you are set. You went out and throughout the beginning of free agency got Tim Settle, Daquan Jones. You have your interior defensive line set now. You have your edge set. That defensive line is going to be scary.
Logan, obviously the addition of Von Miller and O.J. Howard, both these additions really do take Buffalo to the next level. It kind of moves the needle one more spot for the Bills in a very, very competitive AFC. So right now, where would you consider the Bills? Are they at the top of the AFC, or they're still one or two moves away from getting to that point?
Man, it seems like every week we're talking about somebody else being at the top of the AFC. It's kind of crazy. They've always been up there before this move, so I still think they're up there now. Top 3 in the AFC for sure in my eyes still. Obviously, Von Miller is a great signing. 6 years is a long time. I really do like the O.J. Howard move. I want to give that one some love as well. But yeah, the Bills kind of still sit at the top of the AFC for me.
Malik, what are you smiling about down there?
Sorry, I'm just getting some text messages right now.
Oh, I thought there was something about the
some
you
news,
can touch upon
maybe.
it if you want.
We'll save that for later on the show. I know the Bengals were interested in O.J. Howard, so that does suck for all my Bengals fans out there. Not saying they were going to sign him, but they were definitely showing a little bit of interest and wanted to get some more info on him, make sure that the medical's cleared and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of sucks. I know that was a guy that they really, really liked, but yeah.
Another move that's happened pretty recently, getting to some of these, more within the past hour, is the Myles Jack signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Got released yesterday morning, and what are the odds we have a Steelers guy on the show with us, Joe Camarota, a 2-year, $16 million deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers for Myles Jack. What are your thoughts on this show?
So what I love about this move is the Steelers just released Joe Schobert, who is taking up $9 million on the cap. So it's basically a swap move. And I think we can all agree that Myles Jack is a lot better than Joe Schobert. Another thing is that the Steelers' run defense really struggled last year, and you can make the argument that it was more of a defensive line thing where they couldn't really plug the gaps and have the linebackers help out. But overall, there's definitely serious problems with the inside linebacker spot in Pittsburgh. So I think the Miles Jack move, while obviously it seems like it kind of feels like he's cooled off a little bit from how he kind of blew up onto the scene in 2016, 17, 18, he's still a pretty good player. And I think he's now easily the best inside linebacker in Pittsburgh.
Breakdown on Vaughn's contract. So, Marissa, I do believe you had the details pulled up on those a minute ago. If anybody does, I'm going to try to find them as well. But I do believe there's a breakdown between the first 4 years and the last 2. I'm not sure who has that right in front of them. I can try to find it too.
I'm pretty sure it was 4 years. I'm pretty sure Marissa told us this offline. 4 years, $70 million for the first 2, and then the next 2 were 2 years, $50 million. Yeah, but it kind of seems, Von Miller will be about 36 as he's entering that 5th year. Something will happen. They'll trade him. They'll release him. 4 years is a lot of time, but
yeah, I was surprised
that somewhere in the middle of that there is voidable years, because I am expecting him to possibly retire within those 6 years, because that just seems impossible for him to stand out that long. So I think once the entire contract gets out there, I do think you will see that there is voidable contract years involved.
Which would not surprise me at all, because if you don't know, Von Miller is nearly 33 years old. He's about to turn 33 by the end of March. So he is technically under contract with the Bills until he's 39 years old. So that's a long time for a guy that old. But again, I'd assume there's voidable years and all that in there. But Daniel, I want to give you the chance to talk about another big deal that happened today. A lot of these defensive moves, and one of them was Zadarius Smith reuniting with the Baltimore Ravens on a 4-year deal. What is your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I like it, right? I didn't really see the contract, but I just know from a pure Ravens perspective, I think they can do some damage this year. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree. I really think they do, right? This past year, they were still good. They were on the cusp of a playoff with Lamar Jackson missing 4 games. He was 7-3 when healthy, with no J.K. Dobbins, with Marlon Humphrey missing 6 games, with Marcus Peters being out for the year. Now they add Marcus Williams, a great safety, and Zadarius Smith at the pass rush. I love the pass rush, right? They got Odafe Owe, one of my favorite prospects last year. I like the pass rush. So this Ravens team, I mean, you also got the linebacker, blanking on the name, not Kenneth Murray, Patrick Queen. He's a young talent. So I really think that this Ravens team, I'm not saying they're Super Bowl contenders. I'm not. But they're healthy this year, and they're making the right moves in free agency. So I like what they're doing.
I can't lie to you guys. I'm feeling a little bit slighted. Mind you, we got some time there. I'm feeling a little slighted. He didn't even ask my opinion on the Von Miller contract. He just completely glossed completely.
No, Malik, I said you can touch up on
he
this.
He didn't ask. He didn't say anything to me. He didn't do anything. I don't know what the beef is, but I'll tell you what. Let me touch on the Von Miller contract really quick.
Okay.
It was completely awful. It was completely awful. I understand Von Miller. You needed a pass rush and stuff like that, but let's not forget. I mean, are the Bills already giving up on guys like Gregory Rousseau and AJ Epineza, guys that they drafted? Like what? Like I don't know. Like I don't know. For me, it seemed a little bit too much for a guy that's 33 years old. Now maybe he can overperform on that defensive line with the guys that they have in place, and they still have the defensive tackle, the 3 tech, Ed Oliver, right? So they I do want to address now what Daniel was talking about with the Ravens. My issue with the Ravens is their linebacking core is still meh. Patrick Queen is he's okay. He's not great. They brought him there to be good in pass coverage. He's not good in pass coverage. Yeah, I think that the Miles Jack move would have made more sense for the Ravens, to be completely honest with you. I thought I knew the Steelers are going to definitely be interested in it, but no, no, I'm not. I don't think that this move, we've seen Zadarius Smith on their team before. Zadarius Smith isn't getting any younger. He's a guy with back issues. It's the reason why he didn't play a lot for the Packers this year. I don't know. It doesn't do much for me. But cool for the Ravens. You add another pass rush. You add a name. So, yes, that's cool. But
can I jump in and say something here about the Ravens?
Sure.
I want to see, are they going to attack the wide receiver position at all soon? Because, I mean, they really aren't giving Lamar Jackson any help at the wide receiver position at all recently. I feel like they have Hollywood Brown, who is okay. Other than that,
Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman. Bateman's gonna have a good year.
So I'm not.
I mean, they need to do something more. I mean, they have maybe a wide receiver 1 and a wide receiver 2.5. Like Hollywood Brown does nothing for me.
And a really good tight end.
I mean, you do well with what you got. Well, the guys that they have, what do they do with them? That's my big thing. Like, what do they do with the guys that they do have? What are they able to do? And I don't see anything. I mean, I think I'm not trying to listen. I don't want to make this like a beat down on the Ravens thing, but I feel like the wide receiver. If you're a wide receiver and you make a conscious decision to go to the Baltimore Ravens, don't know why you would do that for your career. Just being honest with you.
They're getting healthy. They're getting healthy. Last year they weren't healthy at all. They were 8-9. They were still a playoff contender. I think that they're going to be better this year, and I don't think it's a stretch.
But when we say better, right? Because better could be anything, right? I could be a 5-win team, but I won one extra game this year. I'm better than I was last year.
Well, they're a playoff team this year. They're right on the cusp.
Nice.
I think they have the potential of it. The biggest concern I have is how loaded the AFC is. That's the thing for me. I do believe Baltimore's offense will be balanced this year. Won't be their most dominant offense because that MVP run Lamar Jackson had, that was their peak, right? But the passing game has improved. I do think it's going to be balanced. They're getting healthier defensively, just healthier all around. But the only reason they wouldn't make the playoffs is because the AFC is simply just extremely, extremely loaded. It is.
Not just the AFC. The AFC North is going to be a tough division.
Yes.
It's going to be a tough division this year, but we know who's coming down with that division. So we don't got to talk about that even more.
Yeah,
we do.
It's
we
Cincy.
do.
It is.
We do. I'm willing. We could put a $100 wager on that right now. We can. $100 wager on it right now. We can. I'm willing to.
Danny, you confident in Baltimore?
I'm willing to right now.
$100 wager.
Tweet that out. 100, 200. Let's make it $200.
No. I'll do 100. I'll do 100 right now. $100 for the Ravens. So what happens if it's neither of the two?
It's going to be one of the two, and it's going to be the Bengals. But continue.
All right, I'll bet you $100 right now that the Ravens win the division. The Bengals don't.
Let's put it up. Let's put it up.
I'll bet you right here.
180. 180.
Shake on it. Shake on it right now. $100.
180.
Why are you moving it up?
Come on, Daniel.
Because I'm confident in what I talk
He
about.
said 200 at first.
Yeah, okay. I'm a college student over here.
That's fine.
Well, you can make
I'll
money.
spot you the other 100. I'll spot you the other 100.
What do you mean you'll spot you? So you'll take your own money?
Sure.
100 right now.
All right.
All I'm gonna say is the Ravens' offensive line is still a problem.
All right,
that's fine. That's fine. Listen,
$100. $100. The Bengals win
right
the
now.
The AFC North going away of that.
$100 at the Bengals. You're saying $100 is the Bengals.
The Bengals are going to win the AFC North.
Okay, $100 the Bengals don't. Perfect. Done.
This is by the way, guys. This is the exact same guy who flew from the West Coast to the Midwest to watch several Bengals games with me this season, including the Bengals winning their playoff streak. So it's nice to see that you have confidence in the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, I have complete confidence in them. I have complete confidence in them. But I'm just saying, I think that this Ravens team, I think that they could do something. And I don't think it's a stretch to say that Lamar Jackson.
It'll be like taking candy from a bag. Listen, do you understand the Bengals put out the blueprint to beat Lamar Jackson, running cover zero blitzes at him and forcing him to have to make a perfect throw and forcing him to actually be a competent quarterback. So when you talk about getting him more weapons and stuff like that, guess what? The Ravens have tried to give him more weapons. He has one of the best tight ends in football. And let's be for real. You take Mark Andrews and you put him on another team. You put him on the Cincinnati Bengals. Mark Andrews has career years on the Cincinnati Bengals, to be completely honest. Yeah, it's true. It's something he would do. He wouldn't be a last resort in the offense, or
he's not the last resort.
I'm sorry. He's the first resort, but he's thrown to at the last minute when he's trying to get bailed out.
I disagree.
He's the first option.
Lamar Jackson. He's the first option.
I watch him. So here's the fact of the matter. Here's what I'm going to say. Remember, you said this. Remember this exact same discussion that we have. Remember, the Bengals already beat the Baltimore Ravens with the healthy Lamar Jackson, with the healthy Hollywood Brown, with the healthy Rashad Bateman, with the healthy Mark Andrews, with the healthiest that they had then. They were healthy when the Cincinnati beat them. But again, we'll remember this.
Oh, we will remember this. We will.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing better than when Malik and Daniel make a bet. That's just the best on a live show. But I do want to switch gears here to the Las Vegas Raiders. They've been in the rumors, they're after this so-and-so, and finally on day 3, technically a free agency, they finally make their moves, signing Chandler Jones to a multi-year deal worth approximately, it's estimated $17 million. I don't know if they've tweeted the actual number on that or not. Malik, maybe you know something there. But Logan, I want to get your thoughts on Chandler Jones now pairing up with Max Crosby in Las Vegas.
I mean, it's a good pairing. The Raiders are still the 4th best team in that division. They still don't have the best pass rushing duo in the division.
Well, His hand up.
Logan?
Rob Gronkowski is going to be returning back to the Buccaneers as well, like I've been saying throughout this entire process, guys. So yeah, there's that.
I think that was expected. But Logan, just after the Tom Brady news, obviously I should say. But Logan, you can continue.
Yeah, just about the whole Chandler Jones, the Raiders. They're still the fourth best team in the division. Still not even the best pass rushing duo in the division. I mean, it's good for them, but it was a weird fit. I don't think it obviously makes him a better team, but I don't think it gives him a much better chance to win the division at all. It's fun. He's a good player, but I just don't really see him having a massive impact on their success.
Now, Joe, the Las Vegas Raiders are moving on from Yannick Ngakoue. Now, with this Chandler Jones acquisition, they're getting Rock Ya-Sin. Sorry if I just botched his name or any of those names at that time, but they're trading him to the Indianapolis Colts. What are your thoughts on that swap?
On the Raiders?
For both sides.
So I'll take the Raiders on this one. I think the Raiders are a good team. I think their defense is good. The problem is it always feels like there's dysfunction around the top. And I know after they got rid of their coach,
Rich Bisaccia.
Bisaccia, yeah. I'm Italian. I should be able to say his name, but I can't. So
Terrible.
But I think that's going to reverberate a little bit around the team because everyone knows how close they were with him. I think he should have been put in a head coaching position. And then you also have to talk about Derek Carr. How do you feel about him? I think he's good, but he's not elite. He's all right. But defensively, I think the Raiders are going to be pretty good. Honestly, I think that pass rush is going to be elite. Chandler Jones produces, and if there's one thing he does, it's going to be produced, and he's going to get hits.
Is he?
Max Crosby's a record as well.
Is he though?
Yeah.
Is he though? I mean, like in the maybe the first few weeks of the season, but I mean, can he sustain that throughout the entire course of the season? I'm just being like yeah. I mean, he started off hot last year, and then I don't know. He had like what down the stretch? Nothing.
He had 9 total after,
and he had what, 5 in a game?
He had 5 in a game. He had 5. He had 5 in one game against the
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans.
Yep.
Against the Tennessee Titans, and then he went quiet for like weeks.
yeah.
And Marissa, obviously the Colts, there's some implications here as well, making that swap. So how do you think this changes their defense in any ways?
I think it upgrades it because you look at who they have in a young star in Kwity Paye. You now add a guy like Ngakoue to that defense and that pass rush. I think you're going to really see them do a lot better this year because they did kind of have some moments where they stalled out. And I just think that Ngakoue will add that experience to help Kwity Paye really get back to the form that we saw from him in college.
Yeah, just add on to that. I think this Colts team, golden opportunity. The Titans aren't looking as good right now. Go win the division. Go get a
quarterback first.
Yeah.
That's obviously the golden step. I mean, Garoppolo, Baker Mayfield, I don't know what it is, but you have the chance to win the division. Go upgrade that pass rush. It's Buckner, Kwity Paye. They also got a second-year guy, and now Yannick Ngakoue, Darius Leonard. Go win the division.
Okay. I mean, it's a
Malik-
pretty
Malik
easy
over
division.
there.
It's the easiest division to win in that conference, like by far right now. So if the Colts go out and get themselves a legit quarterback, that's all I'm saying. But Daniel, you mentioned the Tennessee Titans. They are planning on releasing Julio Jones at this point. So I want to get your thoughts on them releasing Julio Jones and maybe where he could go next.
To be honest, like the Tennessee Titans, there's a lot wrong with them. Their offense is I said it last year. I didn't think they were going to be as good as they were. It's Derrick Henry or nothing. Like Ryan Tannehill is a good quarterback, but A.J. Brown, that offensive line isn't that good. Julio Jones, I don't really know where he ends up because he was okay this year. I mean, a lot of the injuries, that's really what killed his year. I can't give a specific team, but I'm really concerned for this Titans team. I don't know what direction they have. They have Tannehill and Derrick Henry, and that's it. So that division is wide open.
That it is. Yeah, I mean, it's easily the, again, weakest division in the conference by far. But Malik, I want to get, your thoughts on the Julio Jones signing. You're the veteran here. Julio Jones is a veteran around the league. Where do you think he could go next, potentially?
I know the New England Patriots are interested. If you guys remember the show yesterday, I said the Titans would release him yesterday on the show.
You did say that.
That was something that they were working through, and I expect the New England Patriots to have interest in him for a guy like him to come from, where school did he go to? Alabama. the quarterback of the Patriots, Mac Jones, what school did he go to? Alabama. Alabama ties. They need a big, strong physical receiver that Mac Jones could throw it up to. And the fact of the matter is Bill Belichick likes receivers that are no nonsense, that are about business, and that is what Julio Jones is, or has been for most of his career. It's kind of tough for you to take your career, a season serious when you have Ryan Tannehill throwing you the ball. So, yeah, I expect the. I mean, obviously the Chiefs are going to be in on him, but if I'm Julio Jones, why would he go to the Kansas City Chiefs? It makes no sense. I think that the New England Patriots are the perfect fit for Julio Jones. They could probably get him at a lower contract level because the fact of the matter is he doesn't have the stats over the last 2 seasons to back it up, or the activity to back it up as well. So New England and Julio Jones makes a lot of sense. I do know the New England Patriots for a fact are interested in Julio Jones. So there's that.
I'd assume that bumps Nelson Aguilar out. Aguilar was the worst of their.
Let me just say, regardless if that bumps Nelson Aguilar out or not, Nelson Aguilar does not stop you from bringing in Julio Jones.
No, not at all. I was just either he's the wide receiver 4, whatever. Hey,
Kendrick
was not
Moore
trying
does.
to insinuate that.
And guys, for some reason, I want to put this out there to all our viewers right now. For all of you guys that are listening, I know we have a huge, over about 500 people listening right now between the YouTube and Twitter right now. I just want us to say this. If you guys have any comments, want to put anything in the comment section, any questions, feel free to do so. We'll try our best to pull them up and get to all of them, as quickly as we can, especially throughout the end of the show. So continue, and I apologize about that.
No, you're good. I love it because we want to get to the comments with everybody watching. Obviously, over 500 people is awesome. But one move that happened last night, Logan, was Marcus May heading to the New Orleans Saints on a 3-year, $28.5 million deal with $15 million guaranteed. Obviously, they lost Marcus Williams to the Baltimore Ravens, so this could be a potential replacement. What are your thoughts on the acquisition?
Yeah, I think like you said, it's just kind of, he lost the position. You need to add somebody. He's a very talented player. It's not a crazy big contract. They don't have much money to work with. They've done a lot of restructuring over there. So I think, the veteran presence, a good talent, you got him on a good deal. It fits like a glove, in my opinion.
Marissa, you're big, one of our biggest draft advocates here at TWSN, and one of the best prospects in next year's draft is Kyle Hamilton. And just so happens to be that the New York Jets have one of the first picks in this year's upcoming draft. So do you think there's a potential fit for Kyle Hamilton in New York now that Marcus May is gone?
Oh, absolutely. You look at Kyle Hamilton and what he can do. He is not just a safety. He can play pretty much anywhere you want him on that defense. He is that culture changer that you would look for in a rebuilding team like the Jets are at the moment. And you now have that safety vacancy open. And, you may not really want to take a safety that high in the draft. But if Kyle Hamilton is there, you take him. You do not pass up a guy like Kyle Hamilton.
So the next move that I want to talk about, it's not actually a move. It was one of the bigger news around this whole free agency period. It was with Baker Mayfield. Malik, I know we talked about this yesterday with the Deshaun Watson news, with Cleveland potentially, speaking with him. That did really fracture an already fractured relationship between the Browns and Baker Mayfield. So, Daniel, if you want to give your thoughts here, is this even salvageable? Like, what is going on in Cleveland?
No, it's not salvageable. Hell no. Like we were talking about this even in our company group chat. I feel bad for Baker, right? Like I feel bad because just the way they're handling this, right? Obviously, Baker Mayfield has dealt with his fair share of criticism, and he deserves it for his on-field play, right? Some of it. But to just completely throw him out and, the next guy up before a trade even happened, I don't know. It's kind of sad, but Baker, I don't see him with the Browns again. I see, either they make a trade, like a team like the Colts could use him. But, Baker Mayfield, no way he dons a Browns jersey next year.
He's going to be a Texan.
Hell no.
Joe, I was just going to ask you, where do you think he's going to go?
No.
He's gonna be a Texan. I just have this feeling that the Browns are going to make the move for him. And as a Steelers fan, I don't want that to happen. But I can't shake that feeling that that's where he's going to go. I mean, we see how hard the Browns are pushing for Deshaun Watson, and I think if you're looking for a quarterback back, the Texans, I think Baker's the best option at the moment that you could take, right? I mean, again, I don't rate Baker highly at all. I think he's average on a good day, but like, I don't know.
Malik, I'll let you go. I know you got something to say.
Okay, I'm not sure if what I'm about to say is a hot take or not, and I'm certainly not one for hot takes, those of you who know me. I think Davis Mills is better than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I'm there with you, brother.
Yeah.
And I don't
I'd
think
rather.
it's really that close, to be honest with you. So, I mean, basically what you're saying, Joe, is you're saying that the Texans would be like, hey, we're willing to downgrade at quarterback because trust and believe if the Browns trade Baker Mayfield to the Texans, they're going to want Davis Mills, or at least I would think they would want Davis Mills, a guy that showed a lot of promise in a rookie contract, especially behind that offensive line. Now, I know they don't have J.C. Treader anymore, hint, hint, right? Or anybody like that, but they still have a very good offensive line or stable, capable offensive line. I think that the Browns offer a little bit more stability, especially with the well-balanced run game as well to offer Davis Mills. So I don't know if I necessarily see the Texans wanting to say, you know what, we're going to downgrade at quarterback and go to Baker Mayfield. I mean, the only thing you're really getting is a personality. I've said it a long time ago, Baker Mayfield is Colt McCoy with a personality. So, yeah.
I mean, I can see what you're saying, but I mean, it's the Texans organization. At some point, you got to think they don't run their team great all the time.
Yeah, but that's
they might
foolish.
think they could
That's
get
foolish, though.
Baker back. They might think they could be like, oh, he's going to be a good quarterback, but then they can fix him in a different system.
Yeah, I don't know. I think after what you saw Davis Mills do, I don't know if they necessarily believe that.
Davis Mills is cheaper, he's younger, and he's probably better. So I just don't see the reason why they'd go after him, but who knows? It's a crazy, fast NFL world we live in. But Malik, I do want to ask you, because I know there's going to be a lot of people asking about this, and we're going to get to some comments after I ask you this question. But Deshaun Watson, everybody's wondering what's going on. Maybe there's nothing new, that you know of, or just nothing new that's happened, but maybe just give us a little insight on that situation.
It's an NFC South, race for Deshaun Watson, and I don't know if they're necessarily going to be. I don't know if the Browns are going to be able to pull a trick out of their hat for it, to be honest with you. I think it's going to come down to the Atlanta Falcons, the Saints, and I know the Panthers. The Panthers were fighting hard for Deshaun Watson. Like, it looked up until earlier the week that they were going to land him. Now it seems like the Saints might. This has just been a weird race going on for him. Now the cool thing is, if they do decide to move on, if the Falcons were able to land him, what happens with Matt Ryan? You have the Colts out there. You have the Browns out there. You have a lot of teams out there that could use Matt Ryan's services. A lot of teams that probably made moves already that are probably going to be kicking themselves like, damn, if we knew Matty Ice was going to be available, the Washington Commanders, they might be a little bit upset with themselves for some of the moves that they made earlier, in the offseason, because they could have had Matt Ryan, who still is playing at a very, very high level. Yeah, small nugget. I want to get to your question. You said, yes, the Eagles are still interested in Juju Smith-Schuster. Will they land him? Who knows? The market for Juju Smith-Schuster is not strong, but can you blame it? It's been pretty much overrated since he had that first year in Pittsburgh, just being completely honest with you. He's a tough receiver. He's gritty, but is he more concerned with TikTok or is he more concerned with football? That's the question.
Are there any other comments? Sorry, I can't see all.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to all of them, but you can go to someone else as I'm getting some of these up.
Sure. Logan, it's been a minute since you spoke. I do want to give you the chance to maybe give your input on the Baker Mayfield or Deshaun Watson situation. Either one, any thoughts you have?
The whole Baker Mayfield situation has always been weird, and I thought it was. I mean, we talked about how they're handling it today, and they came out. They said they wanted an adult at quarterback. That kind of really ended things in my mind. Not that it was really much there anyway, but that officially closed the book there to me. And Deshaun Watson, I always felt like he was going to be a Panther from the moment that they said, that he might be traded. I know that might not happen, but I guess everybody in that division is fighting for him, and it's kind of weird. I mean, maybe they're all it's kind of awkward. How often do you see 3 teams in a division fighting for one person? They're all driving up the price against one another. So I'm very interested to see what the final price is going to be, because like I said, when you have 3 people in one division fighting and raising up the price, it's going to get steep, and the price was already steep enough.
Right. And, everybody wants Deshaun Watson services in that division, besides the Bucs, who are more than content with Tom Brady at quarterback. But Marissa, there's a really good question here from Chase Oliver. Chase has been in our comments for quite some time now. I appreciate the loyalty here at TWSN. But his question is, if Matt Ryan moves to the Colts, would that put them in the contenders race in the AFC? Marissa, what say you?
I would say yes because I think they would win the division. You look, they're pretty much just a quarterback away. They have a star running back, Jonathan Taylor. They have their defense pretty much set. You have a young star in Michael Pittman, and as long as you can build more wide receiver talent around him, you're set. You look at what he did with the offensive line with the Falcons, which it was not great last year. You give him a better offensive line in the Indianapolis Colts, you get good Matt Ryan play. So yes, I do think it makes them a contender.
Daniel, do you think Jimmy Garoppolo is a better option for the Indianapolis Colts or Matt Ryan? Are we losing Daniel?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we hear you.
Sorry. Wait. Sorry.
Sorry.
What are we
okay.
off on?
You're good. Matt Ryan or Jimmy G for the Colts? Who's the better option?
That's hard. You know me. I'm a huge Jimmy G fan.
We know.
I think they both do similar things. I think they both do similar things. If I have to pick one, I'm gonna say Jimmy G because obviously he's been in a situation where, and I'm curious to see what Malik's laughing about. But Jimmy G, he's been consistent. When you have a good run game, he's been consistent. And I'm not saying this team, is going to be. All right, what do you?
He's not better than Matt Ryan, Daniel. He's not better than Matt Ryan.
Why? Why not? Why not?
Jimmy G plays under a Kyle Shanahan offense, and really, it's perfectly set up for him. The offense is perfectly set up for him with Deebo Samuel, with motions and all that. Matt Ryan does a lot with a lot less. I really, there's so much more talent.
Yeah, exactly. But look at the situation in Indianapolis. What is there? Obviously he doesn't have a Deebo Samuel, but he has an offensive line. He has a Michael Pittman. He has a good running game. He's probably the best running game in the entire league. So why I just don't think that we can completely discount Jimmy G and what he's done. His record with the 49ers, I think he's only lost about 12, 13 games. And obviously that's a credit to the 49ers. Yes,
that's not a reflection of Jimmy G as you think it is.
It's not a quarterback stat, Daniel.
But you're missing the point. Jimmy G in the Colts system, I think he could succeed. I think they could win the division with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, and that's
cool. They could win it with Matt Ryan and maybe then some. Listen, I'm more in the middle here, but I don't understand the argument with the Jimmy G and their whole record thing. I've heard it way too many times. Mitchell Trubisky went to the playoffs with the Bears. Trubisky's not the one that took the Bears to the playoffs. That was their defense. Kind of a similar situation here. He's got a really good defense. Kyle Shanahan, plenty of playmakers. Jimmy G is not the reason he has such a good record.
I never said that.
Let me just say this. Hold on. Let me say this. Let me say this. George Kittle, Deebo Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
Plethora of running backs.
Okay.
Right? Kyle Shanahan, offensive guru. Didn't matter. What do
you mean didn't matter?
You take Matt Ryan and you put him. Listen, you take Matt Ryan and you put him in that exact same situation. I think we might be talking about the 49ers in the Super Bowl versus the Rams in the Super Bowl. So my point is, who was Matt Ryan throwing to this year? Name 5 Falcons receivers, Daniel. I'll wait.
5 Falcons receivers or
yeah.
Cordell Patterson, Kyle Pitts, Russell Gage.
No, don't do that.
Not a running back.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's targets. That's targets.
Receivers.
The first receiver you thought about was there half.
All right, you name 5. You name 5 49ers receivers. I'll wait. Go. Case in point.
Do that for you?
I just listen. I just don't think that we're gonna talk about a 38-year-old Matt Ryan. I just don't think he's. How much better is he than Jimmy G? Is he 1 win better? He's not more than 2 wins better? And I don't think that if he's on their team, they win a playoff game that they can't win without Jimmy G. I think they're on the same tier of quarterbacks.
Nah.
Matt Ryan just hasn't shown me anything recently. Granted, he doesn't have the receivers, but he still hasn't shown me anything. He's been throwing interceptions left and right. He's trying to force way too many things, and I just haven't seen it out of Matt Ryan. So I don't think he's that much better than Jimmy G.
But are we sure that Jimmy G is going to be ready for the season? Because he's supposed to not be throwing until July with his shoulder. So is he really going to be ready?
Oh, that's a fair question. No, that's a completely fair question. I just don't think that Matt Ryan is that much better than Jimmy G. I really don't.
It's funny. It's funny. Their stats were very similar this year. They both threw 20 touchdown passes and 12 interceptions.
And Jimmy G he's in a run first offense. They run the ball 58% of the time.
Well, I think part of that is they felt the need that they had to take the ball out of Jimmy G's hands.
Exactly.
I disagree.
do.
You play to your strengths. Your strengths are your playmakers. Your strengths are your running back, and your
Your
strength is
strength
your
ain't
offensive
Jimmy
line.
G. That's for damn sure. Obviously.
So you play to your strengths and you play to your running back, and it worked. They obviously not Super Bowl. Obviously they didn't win it, but it worked.
Daniel, what's your point?
My point is that Matt Ryan's better than Jimmy G.
Okay, well, okay. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to this conversation?
No, I'm convinced Daniel is on a hot take day today. That's what I'm convinced.
You gave me nothing that
He's
Matt
a
Ryan's
Jimmy
better.
G lover.
And you gave me nothing
He
either.
didn't have weapons.
He has to
You
do
gave
fact
me
sheet.
nothing.
We know what Matt Ryan can do when he has weapons. That's all I'm saying.
We saw that 3 years ago.
We know what Matt Ryan could do. Matt Ryan, yeah, last time he had weapons. I also saw Matt Ryan. I mean, I know the final score didn't show it, but I remember watching that Buccaneers versus Falcons game in Tampa earlier this season, and Matt Ryan almost pulled.
I remember
off an
Jimmy
upset.
G single-handedly coming back against the Rams and putting them in the playoff race. I remember that at the end of the year. That wasn't the running back.
I also remember Jimmy G just throwing a Hail Mary interception up, panicking in the pocket. And
I remember Matt Ryan throwing more interceptions than Jimmy G this year.
No, they threw the exact same amount, Daniel. They threw 12. Matter of fact, Jimmy G. Matter of fact, Jimmy G threw more because Jimmy G made it to the postseason. Matt Ryan didn't.
Okay, yeah, but how many passing attempts?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I mean, at the end of the day, people could feel how they want about Matt Ryan. I just think that, we're going to agree to disagree on this topic.
Oh, we really will.
I think that literally their stats were exactly, were super similar. Guys, you guys are saying, I see people in the comment section, Matt Ryan lost 28-3 lead. Matt Ryan didn't allow the Patriots to come back in the Super Bowl. That was on his defense. So stop it. Let's not do that.
Run the ball.
Also on Shanahan, but that's another gripe I have. Another time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Run the football.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Exactly. Keeps bringing up the Colts weapons in the what more is Jimmy G going to do? The Colts second round exit. I don't know. Okay. Daniel, do you have any sort of rebuttal?
No, like if Jimmy G's on the Colts, they're not winning 2 playoff games. They probably won't even win 1. They probably won't make the playoffs. But I just don't think that Matt Ryan does.
So if that's the case, why not enter a rebuild, right? At that point, why not? Because now you're talking about it. They have a lot of veterans who are coming up on deals.
Daniel's not making better points. He's not. He's literally not making. We're literally canceling each other out because we're both agreeing they both threw the same exact amount of touchdown passes, the same exact interceptions. Jimmy G was in a better offense this year than Matt Ryan was. That's. I mean, and yes, Jimmy G made it to the playoffs, but he also threw more interceptions because they made it to the playoffs, and Jimmy G threw a lot of interceptions, do a couple in the playoffs, stuff like that. Listen, we canceling each other out. They're much more similar than I had anticipated. I just looking at the eye test, right? So when the stats sort of match up with one another, I start to look at the eye test. When I just watch the eye test and I see Matt Ryan's interceptions don't look nearly as bad as Jimmy G's interceptions. Just to be completely honest with you, that's just where I'm at.
Yeah. Also, I don't know.
All right, let's get to more questions.
Yeah. I mean, we have better things to talk about than Jimmy G and Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
I can assure you that.
The point has been buried into the grave.
Yes.
Again, is there any more? I don't know who's running. Whoever's running the back office. If you guys have the.
Well, a lot of people think Daniel just won that, so there you go.
Oh man, we got Dan. Did you invite all the Jimmy G truthers here? But
I think
I'm more in the middle. I don't think there's a huge difference between the two personally, so I'm more again on the fence there. But I don't know, man.
No, like.
All right, yeah, can we just get off this topic? Let's
get on.
It does nothing for my mental right now.
Move on.
I have more text messages and stuff like that coming in on signings and deals and all that than talking, and rather be talking about that versus this. But continue.
Well, I need to see. Do we have any comments?
Okay, so so we have a question. Is the market for offensive free agents frozen under Deshaun Watson? No, it's not frozen under Deshaun Watson. Only one I would say person that's really banking on Deshaun right now is Teron Armstead, who teams already have sort of a concern about too with his injuries and things of that nature. I mean, I don't think teams are I don't think people are like, oh my God, I can't wait to see who Deshaun Watson picks. I mean, Deshaun Watson's a cool talent to play with, yeah, for sure. But I think that it's just it's slow for everyone. I think what's happening with the offensive tackle market is there's a lot of offensive tackles out there who are waiting for a guy like Teron Armstead to sign his contract because he is one of the premier offensive tackles in football. So people are seeing what he's going to get, and then they can sort of gauge what they want to. They can gauge what they want to get. You know what I mean? So I think that's why you're seeing sort of like a stalemate when it comes to offensive tackles and things of that nature. Thank you, Small Nugget. I think I won too as well. But yeah, the Patriots are in on Lyle Collins. Just a matter of are they actually going to pull the trigger on him? If not, he's going to wind up getting released, and at that point, he'll make a decision on where he wants to go, which I think a certain team is banking on. So we'll see how that all shakes out. Somebody asked about the Bengals. What's the move? The Bengals right now are prioritizing right tackle, cornerback. They obviously want to add a tight end, pass catcher, guys like that, and that's something that I fully expect them to do. No, there is no update on Lyle Collins' situation. It's all in a holding pattern right now to figure out what happens with the Patriots. If the Patriots are not going to trade for him, he's going to wind up getting released. That's what I think is going to happen. So that's all we've got on the Lyle Collins thing. Somebody asked, somebody asked in the Twitter section comment. Sorry, I can't pull your comment up, but I'm reading it. Who do you guys think is better, Lamar or Watson? I think Deshaun Watson is better than Lamar Jackson.
100%. 100% Watson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's really.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything else on the table?
I mean, I think we pretty much covered everything, right, guys? I mean, like I said,
what about Tyrann Mathieu? I'm just curious. Do we have any idea where he might end up?
I know the Steelers are interested in Tyrann Mathieu.
I've heard that too, but
I don't know if they're gonna land him. Somebody said, what does the market look like for the stuff on Gilmore? I know the Raiders are interested in him, and there are a few other teams that are interested in him, but it's weird. Trent Brown meets with the Seahawks on Thursday, and obviously the Patriots are still interested in him. I don't really expect him to go back to New England because that season was like a weird one. So somebody asked me, do the Bengals still make the playoffs next year with all these moves so far? Yes, because here's the great equalizer that the Bengals have that nobody's talking enough about. The Bengals have the best wide receiver group in the National Football League, especially with Amari Cooper leaving Dallas. The Bengals have the best wide receiver core in the National Football League. So when you look at it, there still have to be a question out there. How are you going to guard Jamar Chase? The number one cornerback in the National Football League couldn't do it. The consensus number one cornerback. He got toasted several times and would have got toasted on the last play. Had Joe Burrow had an instant second, which is why the Bengals went out and signed the guys that they did on the offensive line. They still got a guy like T. Higgins, and they still got Tyler Boyd, who's one of the better slot receivers in football. So yes, there are a lot of things that the Bengals still have that other teams don't have. So everybody's going out there like, oh my God, the Bengals are not making all these moves. And this section is strictly for my Bengals fans right now, this part right here. People are panicking because the Bengals aren't making all these moves. Understand the Bengals have put themselves in the position where they don't have to be like some of these other teams and go out there and make all these outrageous signings and outrageous moves. Like it's like a game of chess. Free agency is like a game of chess, right? So it's like checkmate. You've got to do sort of what's right for your football team in areas that you're lacking. You then have to try to find a way to add to that. Right now, the Bengals have to find a way to add a right tackle. And if they choose to, add another offensive lineman, they absolutely can. But they don't have to go out there like some of these other teams and, sign a huge guy to this. Understand, they still got a guy like Joseph Asai coming back into the fold and things of that nature. So for all of you guys who are panicking about the Bengals non-activity, understand there's a reason why they were active in so much the last two free agencies with guys like Trey Hendrickson, DJ Reader, so on and so forth, Mike Hilton. They don't have to go out there and do all that ridiculous stuff, as it goes. So the fact of the matter is, relax. Like I see a lot of Bengals fans panicking right now, and a lot of you guys are watching. Stop asking about JC Treader. There's no update on JC Treader. The guy just got released yesterday. There's going to be a market for him. Please stop asking about that. But the fact of the matter is the Bengals don't have to do nearly as much as some of these other football teams have to do. They have to add a right tackle, get a starting right tackle to have a competent offensive line. Understand, the Bengals went and they beat the Kansas City Chiefs twice in a month span. They beat them at home. They did it twice just so you know it was real, right? And then they went into their house and they overcame a huge deficit and they won that as well. So that doesn't happen just by chance. You don't just reinvent the wheel just because you didn't win the Super Bowl, so to speak. I told you guys coming into the offseason, this offseason is going to look a little bit different. The Bengals are going to be more calculated. Just because the Bengals have a bunch of money to spend doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go absolutely buku crazy. They're going to do what's best for them. They're going to put their team in a position to succeed. They don't want to be in a situation where they throw big money at a bunch of guys, and in year 4, when it's time to pay Joe Burrow, they're asking these guys to take restructure or pay cuts and things of that nature. So rest assured, the Bengals are going to be calculated about this thing. The Bengals are never going to be one of those teams that are going to just throw buku money at guys who don't deserve it. If you want to know guys that the Bengals are going to add, they're going to look for cornerbacks who people have written off, or people that they or players that still have high upside. Guys like Chidobe Awuzie, who people thought had nothing else to give, right? So things of that nature. People like that. What are the chances that they'll make the Super Bowl? I think that, and I'm sorry, guys, on the panel right now, I'm just talking strictly about Bengals, but I feel like I've neglected my Bengals followers all day, so I kind of want to get to some of these things. I think the Super Bowl is, anybody can win the Super Bowl. It's about who's the healthiest team at the end of the day. The Bengals might miss the playoffs altogether, right? But it couldn't be. It's not going to be for a lack of talent. It could be a lack of health. It could be anything. So just relax. Like I think that it all comes down to the healthiest team. I think the Bengals have the pieces in place to make another run, which is why, me being a Bengals fan, I don't fear too much. Like, damn, they lost in the Super Bowl, because I know that they're set up a little bit better, where I know that that's not going to be the end all be all for them to be in that position. So rest assured with that. I just think that it's one of those situations where, you got to just sort of relax. A lot of these teams that you see out there making huge deals because they have to. Like the Buffalo Bills are going all in on a guy like Von Miller because they feel like they have to. They feel like their Super Bowl window is now. And God forbid the Buffalo Bills don't even sniff the AFC Championship this year. It's going to look really grim in Buffalo. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where those are winning moves now. This is a long-term game. It's about sustained success, not just a one-season sample size. So, again, teams have gotten better. It's the National Football League. Teams are going to get better. Teams in your division are going to get better. For every move that you make, teams are going to come out with a different move. I think if I'm some of the teams in the Bengals division, I'm stacking up on defensive backs. I'm not worried stacking up defensive backs and pass rushers. And if we're not adding that, you have to ask yourself, what are we doing, right? Because the fact of the matter is, you have to have an answer for Jamar Chase. You have to have an answer for T. Higgins. You have to have an answer for Tyler Boyd. You have to have an answer for Joe Mixon. You have to have an answer for Joe Burrow. And a lot of these teams don't have an answer for that. But once again, they're not the only team. There are countless other teams that are working to improve their roster and working to get better, right? It isn't just the Bengals world. It isn't just anybody's world. So at the fact of the matter, just rest assured, guys, trust the process, trust the plan. It's all coming together. It's going to come together. I'm willing to take some more questions as well. What is a player that has surprised you that you think is not getting many offers? I think whoever lands Dante Jackson is going to get an absolute stud. I'll keep saying it. Whoever lands Dante Jackson is getting an absolute stud. I think Dante Jackson has a lot of upside to offer a football team. He's the fastest cornerback in the National Football League. He's just one of those guys who I've watched a lot of tape on, and I believe in him. You know what I mean? He and one thing that he does really, really well, he does great at plucking the ball out the air and giving the offense other opportunities, and that's something that we cannot, understate or undervalue, guys. I'm trying to tell you, it's true. The Jets. I'm guessing I got somebody said the Jets have signed. Hold on. The Jets have signed Tyler Conklin. So they've signed CJ Uzomah. They signed Tyler Conklin. So they're over investing in that position. Don't know why. I don't know. Somebody asked, what team does Deshaun Watson best fit in for? I'm trying to get to all these questions, so just bear with me, guys. I'm trying to get through all this. Guys, what do you guys think Deshaun Watson's best fit is at? Actually, let me ask that.
Carolina.
Why is that?
I would say they have the best roster right now. I think even though every team's going to have to trade somebody. I'm looking at Atlanta. All they've got right now is Kyle Pitts. They can't acquire some guys, sure, but they have a lot of holes to fill on that roster. I think it could be a situation where it's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs, even with Watson in that first year, given all, the patches they need to fill on that roster. But if he goes to Carolina right away, you've got an awesome defense. DJ Moore's one of the better receivers in the league. I think he can be a legit wide receiver one. I just think that's the best current constructed team.
Okay, I can respect that. What do you think, Daniel? Daniel?
I agree with them. I don't know if the Saints are still interested, but I think the Saints could be too. The Saints offensive line's great, and we know their organization has always not had the best postseason success, but has always been there. Offensive line, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. We obviously don't know his situation, but I think they're probably the second best because, to be honest, like the Browns, you got the roster. That'd be scary, but also it is the AFC, and I think he'll have a lot more success in the NFC, where it's more of a weaker conference.
Marissa, you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Aidan and say Carolina, because you look at the move that they just made today with getting Rashad Higgins. At least now that gives them stability to trade. Definitely not DJ Moore, but if they look to trade Terrace Marshall or Robbie Anderson, at least that gives them depth now at the wide receiver position if they do trade one of those guys. But I'm looking at the Saints and I'm looking at the Falcons, and they don't really have too much depth to trade to the Texans and not be in a good place to compete this year, unlike the Panthers, who have enough depth at multiple positions to still compete. It's really just that offensive line that is shaky, and they at least have made improvements there.
All right, I'm going to get to two more questions here, and then we're going to head out of here, guys. I appreciate everybody on the panel for sticking in as well. Browns ceiling with Watson. I think if the Browns were able to pull off a Hail Mary and land Deshaun Watson, they could easily make the playoff. I mean, easily make the playoffs, be consistent, consistently live in the playoffs, and maybe even, do some more damage. We'll see how that all shakes out. I want to get to one more question. Do I think the Bengals actually get a long-term deal done with Jesse Bates? Yes, I do. I think that one of the worst things that could have happened for Jesse Bates is to not, put his all into the first part of the regular season and seeing how that all shaked out for him. And he sort of kicked that to the curb, you know what I mean? And he got it together towards the end of the season and definitely in the postseason. But I think the one thing that's going to suck for Jesse is seeing some of these safeties like Marcus May and Marcus Williams, what they got in free agency, and they're some of the, the top safeties in the National Football League, is completely different from what Jesse Bates probably saw himself getting priced at and things of that nature. But I do think the Bengals and Jesse Bates do eventually get a long-term deal done. They both want it. They both are fond of one another. It's just about making sure the dollars match up, especially the guarantee money. That's going to be the biggest thing for a Jesse Bates contract. But other than that, guys, we want to thank you so much for joining us here for day 3 of our free agency recap. You can catch us here back tomorrow, same time, mostly the same crew for the most part. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we answer all your questions. We break a lot of news and we dive into some of these rumors as well, like we did today. Some things to be on the lookout for. Tomorrow, look out for some more cuts to happen around the National Football League as teams start to trim their roster down and get themselves rid of salary cap and dumping salary cap so they can make some more aggressive moves as the week ends. Make sure you follow all of us on our social media handles. Follow me at Wright Report on Twitter, TWSN. Make sure you're following TWSN. Follow TWSN. And like I said, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure you follow us on our social media platforms at TWSN. But until next time, guys, we'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Same time, same place, same team. See ya. Good night, everybody.
We could be superstars. We've been rather wrecking car. What is at stake for us? Kicking up on the road. Yeah, we could be superstars. Celebration time is up. So we fell off the spinning tops. Now go baby,
Giannis downhill, slams it home.